Many people say that Kajabi is not very good for blogging, as SEO is not that great on the platform. So my wife and I have decided to start a blog in Kajabi and test the SEO to see what we can get out of it. After we finished the first blog post in Kajabi, I decided to go on Google to get an evaluation on the page. And the SEO score was not that good. After a few tweaks, I managed to get the 100% score on SEO directly from Google. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did so you can do that too. Let's start from the very basic of your blog post: the title, the URL, and your meta description. You can change all this within the Kajabi editor of your blog post. So when you create a new blog post, you have all of these options available to you. Good practices are to fill up the title with all of the keywords you want to rank for, but of course, making the title readable for humans. So forget about algorithms or SEO best practices. Just make sure you have your keywords there, but the title is readable for an actual person. Then when it comes down to the URL, you want to avoid anything that it's general or non-descriptive, like blog page 123. You want to have the blog post URL containing all of the keywords of the title as well. Kajabi by default will convert your title into the URL, and if you've done your research on the title beforehand, your URL should be okay as it is. When it comes to SEO settings specifically, it's a good practice to keep your title below 7 characters. This is very important for mobile discoverability as well. So make sure that you create a title that you are happy with, but maybe create a version that it's 70 characters maximum with the same keywords in it. Same thing applies to the meta description. Make sure you use a maximum of 160 characters, again, because it's going to get truncated from Google. Make sure you describe exactly what the blog is going to be about, including the keywords you want to rank for, but without overstuffing. Just make it readable for a real person. And also choose a picture that you want your blog to pop up with when people search them on Google. Make sure it represents exactly what they're going to find in the actual blog post. Moving forward, you want to give your blog post a tag, which will function as a category. And every time you create a new tag in Kajabi, you create a new blog category. So make sure that instead of creating a million ones every time you create a new blog post, have an idea of the main categories that you want your blog post to fall into, and choose wisely the namings of those, because of course they are searchable as well. In this case, for this blog post, is mindset and health. It really depends on your niche and the keywords you want to rank for. Then you want to give your blog image a bold description. This is crucial for SEO because it pretty much describes what's in the picture, in this case, your blog image. Always have your keywords in mind when describing what's inside the picture. Of course, you don't want to be completely misleading compared to what's in the picture, but take an excuse to describe what's in the picture, but including the keywords you want to rank for as well. Now let's have a look at the blog post itself. As you can see, this is the first thing you see. Your blog image is the first image that will pop up at the beginning of your blog post. And then after that, you have options to include the text, images, this special block. If you stay until the end, I'll show you how it's done because it's not Kajabi default. But anyway, all of the images that you see right here, they have to be light for a good user experience. And the best way I found it, and also it's the Kajabi way that they suggest in their help page, is to convert all of these images from JPEGs or PNGs into WebP formats, which is a format that Google invented. And Google really likes that. So head over to squoosh.app and drag and drop your JPEG. Immediately, you can choose to convert it to WebP. If you want to resize it in the app, you could do so. For me, I like this resolution. And as you can see, it gives you the percentage of how much space you've saved if you convert it from JPEG to WebP. When you're done, just hit save and save your image and upload it in your blog post. Do that for each image of your blog post and your page will load 10 times faster. To keep your blog post organized and SEO friendly, you also want to have a look at your headings and how you use them. This is the title of the blog post and it's automatically assigned to H1, I believe, from Kajabi. And therefore, don't use heading 1 for anything else in the page. As you can see, I've divided the post in 5 main bullet points, and each bullet point is its own paragraph. The title of the paragraph, I set it to H2. So all of the titles of the paragraphs are H2. If I have a sub-paragraph like this, I would probably choose heading 3 or 4, so that I still have a heading font, but it's not a completely different paragraph. This not only is going to be SEO friendly, but it's going to be more user friendly for people to actually read the blog. Now it's time to take care of your hyperlinks. If I open up the editor and I scroll down to some links, when you are linking anything, you want to make sure that the text that is linked to the hyperlink describes something. In this case, for example, we are listing some software we use to schedule social media, and they have specific names. So we link their home pages with the actual name of the software, and that's a good practice. When you're linking your own blog post within your blog, you want to make sure that you describe as much as possible what they're going to be reading about, or if it's a blog post. In this case, here's a blog post is a link we used. If it was just like click here, Google wouldn't like that, and you'll be flagged not to be SEO friendly. Now we come down to the tricky part, and as you can see, my blog post has got many images. And there is no way to natively give it an alt text to all these images in Kajabi. So how do we go around this? Unfortunately, it's quite annoying to do, but this is how you get 100% SEO score on Google, by giving an alt text to all of your images. And for that, you need a really simple code. Let me show you how I do it. First, I open up the editor and I give it an emoji to every single picture there is, because the text editor, it's impossible to decipher. So I'm going to do this for every image so I know where they are. Once I'm done with it, I can click on source code so that now I can easily see in the sea of code, I can see where my image is. So the first block, it's a emoji. The second block is the image block. What I want to do here is before the end of the block, this is the end of the block, I want to add alt equal, that's your description, inside the comments. Do this for each image, including the keywords and a right description for the image, and Google will like that. Once you're done adding the alt description to every image, you can go ahead and delete the emoji, either from the code editor or directly from the text editor over here. Once you're done, hit save, and all of your images will have an alt text that Google will like. Another feature that Kajabi does not give you natively on the blog post editor is having call to action showing as buttons. But there's a super simple way for them to show up like this and actually be a button. If you go in the editor, the only thing you need to do is go all the way down to where you want to have your button. In this case, it's just this text. And you would create a link like you would normally, right there. You create a link, press OK, and this will become a link. But now if I go in a source code and I go all the way down, the only piece of code you need to add before the href equal all of that rubbish, it's that. Class equal btn within commas. This will transform your link into a button. You hit OK, and your link is now a button. Now let me give you the tip of the pro on how to create a summary block that is all linked to the right sections like this, because you don't have this option by default in Kajabi. I had to come up with some solution for it. First thing, you need some CSS custom code. Don't worry, I'm gonna link what code you need in the description below. Head over to your website design and hit customize. Go down into your blog post section and then going into settings, custom code. The only thing you need is a bunch of code like that I'm gonna post in the description down below. This will apply to all of your blog posts. So once you've done it once, you can forget it and just follow the rest of the tutorial. Hit save and you're done. You can get back to the blog post editor now. The CSS code we just added is for you to have this numbered list showing this way. So 1 as in the title of your blog and everything else as your paragraph in 1.1, 1.2, so on and so forth. To have the summary block showing as you're seeing right now, you need to add some custom code. So if you go back into your blog post and hit custom code, just find the spot where you know you need your table. In this case, you can use the emoji trick if you don't know where you are. And I'm gonna copy the code that you need. The code that you need is basically just that. You will have something like this showing up. Then we're gonna fill it up with the right links. So first of all, copy and paste this code from the description box below into your blog editors, and we're gonna go forward. Now that you copy and pasted the code in your blogs, it should look something like this, just without the links. These links, if you click on one of those, they will jump down to the right section of the page. That's called an anchor link. And again, this is not native from Kajabi, but we can do it very easily using a little bit of custom code again. As you can see at the beginning of this paragraph, there is a little anchor, and that's just an HTML tag that we're going to add to each of the paragraphs. So let me show you what you need to do exactly. If you go into the source code and we identify the first anchor, here it is. It's just this piece of code, and you can identify the specific paragraph by giving it a word. In this case, I chose 1 because it was simple. Now you can copy and paste this code, go down to the next paragraph and paste it, changing the 1 into 2, for example. And you do that for each single paragraph. Now, when you are done with it, all of your anchors are in the right place. What we want to do now is copy all of the titles of our paragraphs and put them into our numbered list. This is not going to be linked. Once you've done that, we need to add the links. And for the links to bring you straight down to where the anchor link is, you just need to create a link. To do that, you just need to select the word that you want to become a link, click on link, and use the actual link of your blog post. But at the end of it, you can use the / hashtag and the name that you used in your meta tag. In this case, for me, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was just a matter of using the same exact URL of the blog / hashtag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ignore everything else, press OK, and now your summary block will work perfectly for you. Now let's see how a blog post scores on the PageSpeed Insights for Google. You can copy and paste your link and hit Analyze. And as you can see, we got a 100% SEO score directly from Google. Okay, now our blog post is perfectly optimized for SEO. But what do we do with the views that we get on our blog posts? Well, I don't know you, but I want people to stick around. And as you can see at the end of my blog post, we have some call to action for people to get even more value from us. And in this case, it's a free masterclass where we explain the 3 steps to get to 10K a month selling digital products and a way to get into our email list. Not only that, we give you a sales page copywriting guide as well if you sign up. So this is something that you can already do natively in Kajabi, and I highly recommend you to do so because you don't want a viewer to just leave your page without doing anything with you. You want them to stay with you as much as possible, gain value from you, and eventually become paid clients, because that's how you can help them the most. If you don't know what kind of lead magnets you can create for your own business, worry not, because I create a video that you can watch right now and follow my instruction. Here it is.